Greetings, everyone. I'm here with another interview of someone who has drank ayahuasca with Taita Pedro. And these interviews are to help those of you out on planet Earth that are looking to the medicine, that are feel called to the medicine. You might feel a little nervous, a little anxiousness. You might not really understand what this whole ayahuasca thing is about. But I have people on here that I personally have sat with many times, and I've seen them go through a lot of healing and transformation. And these testimonies here are just to help nurture you into feeling confident, because it is a very big decision. So I have with me here Gennady. Thanks, Gennady, for being with us today.
Thank you, Michael. It's always a pleasure to speak to you.
Yeah. So Gennady has how long ago was it since your first time?
So my first time trying the medicine was in December of 2020, and with Taita Pedro was February 2021.
Beautiful. And I remember you are coming from an engineering background, and you were coming from the city, and you were coming from you have a child, you were coming with a lot of kind of relationship stuff going on and a lot of anxiety.
Yeah, that is correct. That is correct. Actually, the reason why I even started looking into medicine was because of my anxiety, and it was a huge problem. It was an issue in life, and that's actually something that led me to the medicine. Because there are other alternatives, and I'm not downgrading them, but for me, they just didn't work.
Hmm. So tell us a little bit about this anxiety, maybe kind of what it was doing against your life, and kind of what was going on with that.
Yeah, so it was so I really think, and again I speculate, but I believe that must probably the bigger issue was, I remember, so when I came to this country, like I was 10, 11. First of all, the first thing they did, they put a lot of fillings, mercury fillings, and
Hmm.
mercury is a neurotoxin. I
Yep.
remember I also came in this country, I had to catch up on my vaccinations. And back then, a lot of vaccines use thimerosal, which is a mercury compound. And, the
Hmm.
mercury, it keeps adding up. And I remember at that time, and, as adjusting, surrounding. And I remember the anxiety would start kicking in. It was worse and worse. It actually got really, really bad. At one point, like I was even afraid to go outside or something.
Hmm.
And but whatever. But it's something I had to like really fight with it, work with it. Yes.
And I remember your anxiety being so bad that you didn't like being kind of around a lot of people, and you definitely didn't like wearing the mask when all that was going on.
No, 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 and no, and also right. I could not actually wear a mask. I mean, not even for whatever. There were some controversy about this. But I mean, not only it's not healthy for you, you don't get enough air, but also I my anxiety is about suffocation,
Mm,
hyperventilate, and mask or actually being in a closed environment would make me hyperventilate.
mm,
That I would just start like I would, and that's like I guess that's my really big fear, like being submerged into something that I would just lose my breath and die, and that's
mm.
what it really is.
Yeah, I remember, when we worked together for a little bit, and I got to know you for a while, and then meeting you at your first ceremony. I used to struggle with anxiety. It was a kind of a different form from being in the military, but I kind of understand how crippling it can be. And I remember meeting you, and there was definitely a lot going on with you. And,
Yeah.
so it's been about 3 years since you have drank with Taita for your first time. And I remember you saying you experienced ayahuasca before you found Taita.
Yeah, it was very mild. It was actually a 1 day ceremony, and it was nothing like Taina. It was nothing like Taina. She was a good lady. Don't get me wrong. She was a good shaman, but Taina is a master when it comes
Gotcha.
to this.
Gotcha. And so coming into, drink the yahe, like you did, just tell us a little bit about kind of what the medicine did for you.
A lot of people ask me, and again, I do refer a lot of people for the medicine. Indeed, actually, I refer everyone whom I know to the medicine, everyone whom I speak. Even in my work, I refer to people about this. But there's one common question everyone asks me: is that a magic pill? And I say there's no such thing as magic pill, right? It's a tool. It's a tool that helps you work
Yes.
with it. So in other words, you must have intention to work with it. That some you have to realize you have a problem. You have to realize that you want to work on this problem, and this thing will truly help you. I mean, it's a truly sacred medicine. it gets a chance for you to experience yourself, look within yourself. One thing, what I'll tell you, and actually a lot of people also confirm the same, you get a chance to do a deep introspection, meaning you really can see yourself from a side. A lot of times people say, you made a mistake. Like, think about it, what you did. There's no way, no matter even how hard you're going to try, like, to criticize yourself, because it's very hard to look at yourself from a side, right? You're always still in your ego mind. But from when you drink yaha, you kind of like split, right? There's a higher you or something, and there's your body, right? Or your everyday person. And
Right.
you truly get yourself to see from it. And because it's so easy to criticize others. I mean, even unintentional, we could always say, oh, this person is doing this wrong, this guy does this right, or oh, how can you do this, or how can he or she do that? It's we tend to jump, like, to criticize other people, but even if we want to try criticize ourselves, our ego will not allow this, right?
Mm.
And here you kind of split, so you get a chance to see yourself from a side, and you can see all embarrassing things you're doing. Not only you can see yourself in the present moment, but also through your past. It's like you're reading, like, biography about yourself written by someone else. And
Wow.
then you say, wow, I can't believe, like, that's really me. No way. And actually, even in my case, like, there were a few things that actually, I'll give examples, since we're here. I mean, like, for example, I mean, not that I'm alcoholic. No, I'm not. But I had to drink. I like to drink some alcohol once in a while. But then, through one of my sessions, I was seeing, like, I drink here and then this event and this event and this event. I said, wow, well, you're crazy. You drink way too much. Like, I criticized myself. I said, this is not normal. Like, even though, but I would never do this on my own normal state of mind.
And primarily, one of the big things I've seen about ayahuasca and in my own life, and kind of what you're telling me, is, say people tell you, hey man, if you would drink less or quit drinking, it would really help you. And we just don't want to listen. But when we learn about it in ayahuasca, it's like an undeniable, like, we can't turn away from it. It's like we have to make the change because it's just so much truth.
What I realized is that, no, it's a good point, and a lot of people could have good intention. I realized, like, no matter what kind of intention is, it's very hard to almost impossible to criticize yourself, because this means you have to find fault with yourself. You see, our ego
Mm-hmm.
mind is very strong. Like, we believe that our way is the way, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's why we try to compare and sort the other people out. So let's say those who support our view, they're kind of with us, and those who are, like, differ than us, then we kind of say, oh, they're wrong. Like, oh, I know this person is wrong. How can he do this or she do this, right? So we believe that our actions are perfect, even though this is, like, done subconsciously, but we truly believe that our actions are the correct actions. And that's why you will not criticize yourself. You say, no, like, you try to offend me when someone tells you, you're not doing this or something like that, or you drink too much. You say, no, you're offending me. What's wrong with you? This, you try to degrade me.
It's a
but
good point.
but right, but others, but other people, we can criticize easily. We can find fault in anyone, even in a passerby. Even to say, oh, why is he carrying his book like that? Actually, to be honest, there was a person, he was carrying his bag, like, a little weird today. And when I was passing in the street to work, and I saw this guy, and even in my mind, he was just a passerby. I said, well, like, what's wrong with this person? But he was carried kind of funny. It was a book bag, but he was carrying with one arm, and he was hanging here. And I said, like, what's wrong with this person? You see, and you criticize very quickly.
Yeah.
When you so this interesting thing happened with ayahuasca is that you realize that you're not there. This is the body, right? And of course, there's a lot of stories and other, like, religious and
Yeah,
other
there's a lot
spiritual
of
ways you
ways
could
to
go,
fill
right?
that
Which
in.
I don't want to go into it, but it's like you realize that you're not there. You're the infinite. You're the conscious, right? And
Mm.
this is just a body is your temporary vessel. So you
Mm-hmm.
kind of go. So now, yeah, you don't criticize your soul, but now you can easily criticize your body,
Mm.
right? Your vessel, or like your car, right? You have a car that you take now. Once you step out of it, you can say, oh, no, it's not so good. Maybe it needs more painting. Maybe it needs more hinges. You need to fix. You put more oil. Uh, Close or remove this thing, like that. That's what I realized. It's very powerful.
Yes, definitely. It's a really good way to put it. So it allowed you to see yourself from a different perspective, so you can really make these changes that you probably wouldn't have made
Right.
without it. what else has it done for your life? Like, how is your life, feeling every day?
You
Just
know,
kind of work life,
right.
relationships.
So what it does, it also minimizes your ego, right? And I mean, like, I don't mean like in a selfish way. It grounds you. You become more of a neutral person, right? So I actually know it changed me. Like it turned me to 180 degrees. I mean, first I can filter through human nonsense. I I'm not a conformist anymore. Like it makes you think for yourself, right? You realize
Mm,
that it's a multidimensional world, universe, I would say we live in. It's not like you don't have to belong. You don't have to like have like in society they say whom do you follow, like which group do you belong, right? Like why do you have to belong like in this group thing, or who is the person, like who's your leader, or whom do you take advice from? No, you can take advice from yourself.
yep.
And it's interesting, it goes back to your initial state. You see, when as a kids, right, we're born and we're born pure. Technically, a child will never pick really a side. I mean, whoever is nice, the child will relate. He'll be also nice to them. Now, as time we grow, we're placed in specific society, in environment, certain conditions, and then we start developing biases, right? And someone who did us wrong, and someone who, for different reasons, right? And then we start really picking sides, and ayahuasca kind of cleanses you. It brings you to the initial state, to the child, to the purification state. And to be honest, now I accept it actually to love everyone. I now I listen to people's opinion. I'm gonna be honest, because I'm gonna be honest. I was different, right? I believe like just like my way has to be the right way.
Mm,
And I mean, if you want, I'll throw example. I'll throw example. Like I come from very religious background, right? From religious background, and just one example, they say there's certain things they go by dogmatic stuff. Like, oh, if a person is homosexual, they're like this, they should be like turned away. And I said, now I look at it, it's just look, it's a choice a person made, and I totally respect it. I mean, look, he cannot tell me how to live my life as much as I have no right to tell him how to live his life. And I really think if that makes you happy, just go for it. It doesn't matter what society say. Like, and don't worry about all the other dogmatic stuff or criticism. Listen, because I know I do everything to be happy. So you have all the same right to be happy on your end.
mm. I kind of went through the same process, and I've just found myself when having that perspective as well, how much peace has come into my life, because I have really dropped the need to be right about anything.
Mm, right,
And
right.
I've just found a lot of peace in my life with that. So,
Right. That's what the society trains us. Like first of all, like, we have to be divided. We have to belong to certain groups, right? We have to you belong either here or there, like
mm,
polarization and stuff like that. And the answer is you don't have to belong to anything. You can just be yourself, and that's the beauty about this. And what the medicine teaches you is that you have to coexist in harmony. Just exist. That's what you're here for. Like you don't have like special things that you have to do this and that. No, you just have to be. The most important thing is to be happy. That's what you're here for. That's the experience in life.
very true. This is very true. Like how you said it. And your anxiety, very specifically, how is it now?
It's less. Look, I'm not gonna say that I cured it, right? I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not sure if you can even cure it, right? Um, but you could. It's definitely less. It's less because and again, I think this all stems from your mind. Maybe because I wasn't really sure in myself. I'm definitely much sure in myself. Like I'm really, I know what I'm doing. I know what I am. I know my beliefs. I know my goals. I know what I want. Right. Again, and I had to really unwind from society stuff. And again, because I was growing up in some ways, but I really learned how to unwind from all this human nonsense. I mean, I use some other bad word, but I'm not going to use it,
I
like human
gotcha.
BS, right? Right. To unwind from everything, and I think that's definitely a lesson my anxiety. That's definitely a lesson. It's definitely less. I mean, I still have it. I still have it, but it's way less. It's way less.
Well, those of us that know you from an outside perspective, we certainly see a big difference. And just a story for whoever's listening. When we first met Gennady, he did not even like to put his bare feet on the earth. And
Right.
in one, remember, do you remember that? And
Yes. Yes.
one of his experiences, he had his shirt off, and we actually told him to lay down on the grass. And Gennady laid down on the grass and had this whole moment and releasing of that. And it seems like now you're not really afraid of kind of all that kind of anxiousness either, right?
Right. I mean, I wouldn't say it's 100% cured, but it is.
But that
And
was a
I
big step for you because you were like
right,
reborn the next day. You were like walking around
right,
without no shoes on, no shirt on, like you were
right. It was like connecting. It was at that moment I felt like I need to connect with the nature, with the ground. Right. It was and ayahuasca is about connection because it's come
yes.
from Mother Earth, and you're connect. It's meant for you to connect. And
I
I
think
think the problem we have is just we humans, we're very disconnected. We're very disconnected. That's our problem.
no no matter what we are trying to heal, one of the first lessons that ayahuasca will give us is to connect to the earth. No matter what your problem is, no matter what issue, dis-ease, illness you might think you have, the first step is the medicine will connect you with the earth. It's one of the very early lessons. And then as you progress in your relationship with ayahuasca, you use that connection with the earth to expand into more of what ayahuasca shows you. So
Right. That's true. That's true.
it was a beautiful thing to see you go through that too.
Yeah. It was a very beautiful experience. It wasn't a light experience, but it was a very beautiful experience, and
Awesome.
it's a necessary experience. It's truly necessary. I mean, I don't know where I would be if I would not find the medicine. It
Mm,
truly helped me. I mean, maybe not so much anxiety, but to become a different person. I like to become a better person.
I
Because
hear
remember,
you
at the
on
end of the
that.
day, at the end of the day, everything else is really perspective, right? Everything is a perspective. There's no right or wrong answer in general, right? So it's just how we accept this world. And like really, at the end of the day, it's really how we accept ourselves.
Mm,
Not really so much world, how we accept ourselves.
beautifully said, my friend. Beautifully said. So, do you have any words for someone that might be on the edge or the fence or maybe confused whether this is for them or not? Just some words to somebody that might be interested in taking that first step, just like what you did one day, because you and I
Right.
had many conversations before you finally decided to come. So, someone
Mhm.
like you, just extending some words of peace and wisdom to somebody that might be.
Right. You know, I talked to a lot of people. I talked about the medicine, and again, I hate to sound like a broken record that just go. Um, I think everyone will benefit from it. It's not just something like for specific group of individuals. People saying, there's some things that may be right for the person, may not be right. This one is right for everyone. We all need the spiritual cleansing, right? We all need that reset button, right? Because remember, we were all pure at one point, and just living in different societies kind of shape us who we are, and unfortunately, in a lot of ways, in a very negative term, because there's a survival instinct. We also have to fight for money, relationship, other things, to sustain in the society, and that creates problem. And I know some people like. I mean, they probably like look online, and I'm sure besides all the positive stuff, there are also negative reviews about this. But see what speaks to you. And if I'll tell you this, if you're already thinking about this, right, somewhere inside of you, it probably it speaks to you, and it wants you to go. If you already start looking at it and you're reviewing it and you're researching, deep down is there. And now, again, as I said, it's life is a choices. It's a choice you make. So again, you could quash it, and not go with it, or you could allow yourself. You see, the idea in medicine is that it's the secret is just allow. The difference between bad experience and good experience. In reality, they're all good experience. They're just experience, right? It's all experience. The difference is if you allow this, it will come smooth. If you resist it, it will still proceed. It's just gonna go through pain, and you're gonna go through trouble, but at the end, it's still gonna be good, right? It's just a path you're gonna take. And sometimes, like if you feel like you really like you're questioning, speak to your higher self, like inside, because we're all divine creatures. We all have this divine intervention in us, and just you could hear to it. And if you're even on the edge, really ask yourself, I don't want to go because I read some review or because people gonna criticize, or maybe that's the reason. If that's the reason, then well, why do you care? What? Because once you're gonna go, who cares? Then you're gonna go there and you're gonna be telling people about your experience. Like, who cares what people criticize you? Remember, you live your life for yourself, not for other people. It doesn't matter what other people think of you. You're here for your happiness, and that's what it is. And I'll tell you, this medicine is very divine. It's very sacred. And most people that, I mean, all people that I know who try it, they all have positive experience, and they never regret doing that.
Beautifully said, my friend. Beautifully said. It's really appreciated. And for whoever's listening, once again, Gennady is just a guy who came and drank ayahuasca looking to better himself and his life. And the medicine guides us along the way. Like he said, it is not the end all be all. It is not a magic pill. The medicine illuminates the dark areas of our life, and then it's up to us to fulfill that illuminated spot. And I've seen Gennady do a lot of work in his life and make a lot of changes, and that's why he's on here. So thank you, Gennady, for showing up and letting us in your head a little bit, in your heart.
Thank you. And one thing I want to say, one last thing. There are a lot of shamans out there, right? And the medicine is being a little bit dewatered in the sense that, unfortunately, again, people have ego and people are looking for businesses to make money. It's funny. It's funny. I did invite one person, and I for another event maybe it was for Taita, and whatever, not mentioning any name. And the first thing he asked me a question, like even before doing the medicine, he said, "Wait, but so if you collect this money, how much it's?" So he really was doing business. It's a good business model. No, what I want to say about Taita, Pedro specifically, like, I mean, look, of course we will do for money because when you're living, I mean, that's not a question, to pay the bills. But he really does out of his heart, and Taita is one of the very few people. There are a few others, but Taita Pedro is one of the few who really, like, he knows, he talks to the medicine, he does, like, he works with medicine. And it's very also important to do with the right shaman. Again, like, I'm not saying he's the only one, but he's one of the really few out there who really and when I recommend people, I recommend really to him, because I said, like, with him you're really gonna get into true experience. Like, that's important. That's important to the medicine correctly.
It's very, very important that, and thank you for bringing that up, because it is so important to drink this sacrament, this medicine, in the correct manner, with the right people. And Taita has been trained in the indigenous wisdom, and he has his family and his lineage supporting him, and he is a real Taita from Colombia, and he has had thousands of people so far, good solid testimony. So whoever does interested in drinking this medicine, it is very important that you do your research and you talk to people that have experienced it, not just once, but many times. And you want to talk to people who have drank the medicine, but talk to them maybe a year after. Find people that drank it a while before, to see how they are in their life for many months after, because that's a very important part too. So it's very good you brought that up, Gennady, and I agree with you 100%.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And also, one thing to conclude, at the end, it's also important to integrate your experience. Like, don't let it loose. And I'm sure you could recommend a great coach.
Yeah, yes, definitely integration. It is. I mean, I never saw myself doing this work, but it's a passion of mine, and it's a blessing to have found it. But the work does not end when you leave your retreat or your ceremony. It is really just beginning.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So thank you, Gennady, so much, my friend.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Being here, it means a lot. And
same here.
Many blessings, everyone who's watching this.
Be in touch.